We are live. Hey, everybody. So wonderful to have you here. Um, Yvette, I think you need to hit your button.
I need to hit my what?
The button because the echo's going on.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So, welcome to Metatron's Love Stream, everybody. He is over the moon thrilled that you have shown up on behalf of yourself and the planet. You are sorely needed at this time. There is so much work to be done, but you are battle tested and you're ready. Of that, we are certain. Welcome today's guest presenter, Yvette of Eva J's Mystical Messages. Yvette has been on this incredible journey of expansion since last year when she joined Metatron's 21-day meditation challenge. Since then, she's completed multiple challenges and generously shares that experience plus new insights on her channel. She has made remarkable progress in a very short time. And I just heard a message she did today talking to Mikhail Gorbachev. Mind blowing stuff. In months, she has done this. So now she is stepping forward as a leader, helping other soul seekers on their consciousness expansion journey. She's an inspiration and a valued member of our community. So, Yvette, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your meditation journey.
okay. Thank you for having me, first of all, Deborah. It's really an honor to be a part of this, and I'm really very grateful to be in this community with everyone. This has really been a massive thing for me to do. Back in January, when I had participated as a just a chatter, just a regular chatter on the live stream, one of the moderators mentioned to me that if I wanted to do something with my channel, that I should post something. So I went in and I said, okay. And I posted a little 2-minute message on my channel saying, oh, hey, I'm coming back in 2025. I'm going to try something new and see if it works. And I started by taking little cards that like oracle cards or tarot cards or whatever, and I would just shuffle them and I would pull one and then I would do I write written meditation about the cards that I had pulled. And it would be words or it would be phrases or whatever, and I would try to apply that into what I was doing. And that was the first groups of meditations that I did with different words like levity or appreciation, gratitude, whatever. So I would do that, and then I started with the Metatron 21-day meditation, and I wrote it like 25 years ago. I did a thing called Conversations with God. I read the books by Neil Donald Walsh and I participated into my own conversation with God. And I was actively writing every day. And I had notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of just these conversations that I had with God. And I tried to share them. And for whatever reason, the people that were in the group that I had joined weren't interested. They weren't. They just said, "Oh, well, this is we're interested in Neil Donald Walsh's interpretations and everything about conversations with God, but not in somebody else's, some, anonymous Yahoo that didn't have it." So I I did this about 20 years ago, and then when I started the Metatron 21-day meditation, I decided to start trying it that way, and it just blew up, and it worked. And so I was posting these meditations from the Metatron conversations that I was having to my channel, and I did that every day. And then after I finished that, I started one called the next step, the new no, I can't. Now I'm gone blank. It's like the new challenge or the new and it was with my guides, and it was just me talking with my guides. One day I would talk to one guide, and the next day I would talk to the other and the other. And so I have three guides that are communicating with me, and I would talk to them every day. I would talk to one of them each day. And so there was Nigel, there was Ramon, and there's Sunshine, and I would talk to them interchangeably each day. And so that's what happened with that. And then after I did that and finished that 21 days, I went into the meadow, which is where my Akashic records are, and where I am actually, that's where I go whenever I do the meditations. I'm in my little meadow where my guides are, and where people join and come and talk to me and stuff like that. And so it's call it Into the Meadow. And today I finished my 21st day of Into the Meadow. And so when I get back from my vacation on the 13th of April, I am going to start going deeper, is what the next We're On to Meditation is going to be called. So that's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah, Marby just posted she watches you every day. How awesome, right? Yeah, and I was telling Yvette earlier, there have been so many amazing synchronicities with this love stream. It's like, how perfect did that work out that you hit your 21st day and now you can take that break because we're going to be broadcasting daily. And you needed that break, plus just that insight for you of, yeah, you can do that, but you can also give yourself the time and the self-care, which is so important. Yesterday it hit me, the other synchronicity, because I was wondering, why didn't we start this thing on April 1st? And this, oh, right, because we wouldn't have wanted to have started on election day. People would have been too distracted. So it's just perfect that we start the day after. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what the astrologers are saying, but oh my gosh, so many crazy things. And if you listen to Hogarth, he's been talking about Rahu coming in and creating havoc for quite some time. It's now in the next few weeks. So that on top of what Metatron has shown me, oh my gosh, we need this right now. It is so important. So we are getting out ahead of that dark tsunami of energy that's coming towards us. We are going to block it and push it back. That is what we're doing here. So I would ask you, we'll do Q&A at the end, but let's not do political stuff, because we want this to be a loving, harmonious, open space for everybody, no matter their belief, because that's how we're going to transform the planet and bring us together in oneness. So we can do political questions on Monday when we have metaphysical live stream, but we'll just keep them off for today. Please and thank you. So next, I'm going to deliver a channeled message from Metatron for today. He's going to give us one message every day. And then Yvette is going to share her message, and then we'll go into Q&A. So before we do that, Yvette, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's it. I think I'm ready to hear what Metatron has to say.
Awesome. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the first day of LOVEStream. It is with much gratitude and appreciation that I greet you and express my thanks for taking the time to be with us today on this sacred mission as we flood the planet with peace and love. Our work here today is a catalyst that will ignite positive change in the many. This catalyst will ignite a movement that will expand each day as you come together to reinforce the energy and intention of transforming your world. The work you do today in cooperation and collaboration with one another will plant fertile seeds of transformation. Equally important, our work during this love stream will function as a safety valve, blocking the powerful destructive energies whose intent is to wreak havoc this month. Coming together in the energy of peace and love, you will diffuse the hatred bomb they were intending to release upon the world. Get that? A hatred bomb? Simply by showing up and joining your intention with your fellow lightworkers, you have already effected powerful change. By the time we complete our 11-day love stream, they will be profoundly changed in a positive manner. Eyes will be opened so that they see the truth of the grand deception that has been perpetrated upon them. Nay, the grand delusion they have fallen under the spell of. Your efforts here in the love stream will cause that delusion to diminish. The more love, peace, energy you bring, the more it will diminish until dwindling down. We wish to commend you for having the courage to step up and carry out this sacred mission, as well as for being willing to give up some of your precious time. We know that is not a trivial sacrifice for many. Whether you are able to join us for one day or all 11, please know your contribution is significant because, once again, it all boils down to energy and intention. When enough lightworkers come together in common purpose, they can transform the world, and in short order. It's also important to know that your coming together in this way creates a wall of resistance, blocking the dark forces, scuttling their plan. You see, a large part of the work is having the courage to show up and the dedication to follow through. Beyond that, it's not anywhere near as difficult as you might imagine. As you stand holding the line for peace and love, you short circuit the blasts of energy that would otherwise act to disrupt the neural pathways of those who are targeted by the dark ones. Neural pathways disrupted. Some targets are more easily conquered than others, depending on how far along they are in their indoctrination into the cult mentality. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. They can be triggered, just like you can be triggered. Once you find their trigger and exploit it in a kind way, they are vulnerable to awakening and recognizing the folly of their choices. When that happens, be kind to them. Do not give in to the egoic need to mock them. And we are not criticizing you in that regard, for we understand it's a natural reaction when someone has caused you and those you love so much harm. But giving into ego would be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Be compassionate, understanding. Help them process the magnitude of the damage done through their choice. When you meet them with understanding and compassion, they will be more likely to enthusiastically join your cause in blocking the dark energy. When they receive a blast of peace and love energy, it will momentarily stun them. Then it will slowly soften their heart, helping them to see where they have gone wrong, creating a desire in them to make things right. Then you're on the way to welcoming them to join your quest for Earthtopia. For once they're awakened, how can they not share your desire for the loving, supportive world where all are equally loved and cared for? And so, one by one, those blinded by greed, jealousy, and poor self-esteem will become aware of the emptiness stimulating their desire for fulfillment. You may think to yourself, that sounds awfully familiar, Metatron. Indeed, it does. Our plan has not changed. We steadfastly stand against the dark forces with the intention of winning them over to the cause of peace, love, and oneness, or to cause them to withdraw, leaving us free to create our new world together. That is the underlying mission today, tomorrow, and always. Thank you for being here today, my beautiful children. This is a fine beginning, and we will make great strides together by the time we reach the end of this powerful love stream. Now, it is time for our guest presenter to share their gifts with the world. Love and blessings until we meet again tomorrow. Namaste, dear children. And I say thank you, Metatron. We are deeply grateful for your love and support. And now, Yvette, if you want to unmute and if you have any comments you want to make about what Metatron had to say before we move into your presentation.
That was beautiful. That's beautiful. Just amazing.
That's Metatron.
Just he's amazing. And I'm very blessed to by his humor, kindness, and love. Just amazing.
Yes. So, if you can mute for just a sec. I don't know exactly what Yvette is going to be sharing with us. I just know it's coming from her heart and from that deep well of wisdom and experience that she's gained in these months of doing her meditations. So, buckle up, sit back, get comfy, and Yvette, please share your love with us.
Thank you so much. I do written meditation, and that means that I read it from a script that I have. And this is what I have for you. The notion of change is dominant sensation that we are experiencing today. We know and understand that change is not always positive, but how we contend with it will have an impact on our own sense of well-being. In my conversation with Nigel, I discovered that the idea of change and reality must find their balance. Nigel is my guide of balance, and his responses coincide with that. Here are some of what he has to say with regards to it. And Nigel begins by saying, although this is a time of change, there are a lot of people who are feeling the strain of it. In time, it will get better. It is merely a question of when. Yes, it is going to get tough in the coming days, but not insurmountable. By using breathing techniques, you will better be able to center yourself. Start by sitting straight up and allowing yourself to breathe deeply. Do not simply take a gasping breath, but rather allow the breath to go further down into your stomach area, around your abdomen. This, when done properly, will enable your stomach to expand. This sounds a bit absurd, but it is actually the idea. When you send that deep cleansing breath down to your abdomen, then you can visualize that your body is filling with light. So start by getting comfortable and sitting and closing your eyes. Now breathe in through your nose and imagine that your body is filling with light. Hold it for a couple of seconds and then breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 3, and then breathe out for 8 to 10 seconds. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it, 1, 2, 3. And now release it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Repeat this if you find it necessary. The act of breathing and concentration is something that people use in many different areas of study. But in spiritual practice, breath is used to align the focus on the divine energy as well as a means to force out or release negative thoughts or energy. Again, try breathing exercise. Breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 3, and then breathe out for 8 to 10 seconds. Anytime you feel stressed out or worried, try this. It takes only a minute or two, but the benefits of it are massive. And I asked Nigel, what else can we do to find that balance? And he says, there are many things you can do: walking, singing, playing music, either through an instrument or listening to music you love, arts and crafts, dancing. People in general can do jigsaw puzzles, walking a dog, baking, or taking part in planning sessions, or even creating spreadsheets and organizing your items. It is entirely comprised on sitting in a it's not entirely comprised on sitting in a corner and going om. It really is very simple, and it is something that every person can do. It does not take a lot of effort, commitment, or promise. It is merely an idea of setting an intention and doing soul work, going forward and doing it. This will enable and enhance not only your life, but it will help others do the same. Once you set your intention to do this each day, it will become a regular part of your routine. It may seem like a small thing, but for each day, try and set aside an hour to do the things that you enjoy doing. Do whatever it is that brings you joy. Creator wants nothing more than for you to experience joy and happiness. When you are sad and despondent, then Creator grieves. When you go out and enjoy the bountiful wonders of planet Earth, you are not only making yourself happy, but Creator revels in knowing that you are allowing this positive energy to flow. So allow yourself to experience that joy, not as a way to confine yourself or limit your senses, but rather as a way to release the heartache and pain that may persist in the external world. This is not always going to be easy. People sometimes feel a sense of guilt for having feeling of euphoria, especially now during this difficult time. It is absolutely imperative for people to embrace and understand that positivity and joy are as much a choice as sadness and guilt. By releasing all of the sadness and negativity, you are embracing the promise of a new tomorrow. Be always mindful that you can say at any moment, you can stop at any moment and go back and feel that sense of empowerment. This will be the key, but that not only opens the door, but it will create a universal consciousness in the world where goodness and hope will dwell. And after discussing this technique with breathing with Nigel, I spoke with Ramon. He is my very logic-based guide, and I asked him, is there anything else that I must know? Ramon says, the main thing that people must understand is no matter what happens, they do not have any control over the free will of another person. That does not mean that feeling one might have are not important or significant. What it means is how much you as an individual are willing to take in. The reality is that as much as they have free will, so do you. Your response to them will be the decision that you alone must make. Consider this. You find a hungry kitten on the street. You conclude that it was abandoned by a person or left to fend for itself by its mother. You have no control over the kitten's current situation, but you choose how you respond to it. Without thinking of the hows or whys that kitten was left in that situation, you pick it up, take it home. And all of this is free will. You freely decided to help this kitten who needed help, and as a result, you found a friend for life. This is how it works, and it may seem like a small and insignificant example, but the overall impact is more significant than if you had walked by it without a word or an action. The world is in essence like this, but on a grander scale. A leader makes a choice, and you are left with a question in your mind. How do I respond to that leader? Do I spend time grinding my gears and hoping that something will happen to that leader? Or do I go out and find other like-minded people to build a community that will enable me to spiritually grow from? One of the gravest mistakes that people make with things when things don't go the way they hope is to allow that sense of despondency to eat them up inside. This will do very little to help them. In fact, it will do the opposite. Instead of finding community or the kittens in the scenario lending a hand, there's that sense that they will somehow be left alone in their suffering. The wonderful news is people will see the examples of good in humanity at this time. You will see the words that Fred Rogers said to you are the absolute truth. Find the helpers. Be the hero that you want to see in the world. Lead by example and watch as others take notice of what you are doing. This is not limited to doing meditations, but it applies to the population at large. Anytime you see someone helping another person or lending a hand, you are seeing the best of humanity. Do not allow your light to focus on the evil or the darkness. Instead, allow your light to shine where it will be the most beneficial to the world. People sometimes forget just how powerful they are individually. Always remember what Metatron said, darkness cannot exist where there light is light. You will not be snubbed out by the darkness. It is like the story of the girl who realized that the Goblin King had no power over her. Once she realized this, she went back home. The story holds more spiritual truths than anyone can imagine. I said, "You are referring to the film Labyrinth from the 1980s." And he says, "Yes, through her experience in the film, she learned that what resists persists." She discovered that through her friends, she was able to overcome the challenges that lie before her. And in the end, the greatest realization imaginable came to her. He truly had no power over her. Although the tyrannical leader has a good deal of power, it is the people who have the power. Discovering that will enable them to find their way back to the calm and centered way of being. People are awakening to the idea that a single man cannot exercise absolute power over them. The only way he could would be for him to break the will of the people. The knowledge of these intentions is the best possible way to prevent him from succeeding. That is where all of you are at this moment in time. This is the most significant lesson as we face the challenge. Does someone else hold the key to this understanding, or do we? Is it really as simple as telling a foe, "You have no power over me"? This is significant, and it will save the people from tyranny. Stand up and say loudly and clearly, "You have no power over me. And I know the truth, and the words you speak are not the depiction of that truth." You are now at a point where truth is emerging. You do have the power, and you can overcome anything by taking your power back and using it for good. And finally, I turn to sunshine to provide me some levity, which is in essence encapsulates emotion. Is there a way to bring levity to this situation? And she says, "You have looked at logic of things through Ramon, and you have sought to find balance through Nigel's suggestions. It is only wise for some reason to smile as a final step in the process. We have spoken extensively about the notion of levity, yet you must essentially work beyond the idea of guilt in order to find it. You are finding that within yourself that the notion of laughter is not always an easy thing to find. Levity is not about laughing in the face of adversity. It is instead allowing yourself to feel that sense of release. What happens when you release a bad situation or let go of an idea that someone else has no power over you? You experience a sense of lightness. The release of something that no longer serves you enables you to overcome obstacles because you understand that you have the ability to release any notion of darkness that might weigh you down. As I said, you don't have to laugh or be happy about the world situation, but you can regard it without guilt or remorse. Some may ask, how can you be happy at a time like this? I ask, how can you not be happy? You must allow yourself to find joy in the moment, otherwise, the dark energies will reign victorious. In the Winnie the Pooh stories, you saw the characters demonstrate various personality types, but did you know that all of these characters make up the various emotions that encapsulate the human experience? You may be asking yourself, how can you sit in a gloomy, misery-filled state like Eeyore, or sit in fear like Piglet, wondering what tomorrow will bring? Have you ever wondered why it is that when you watch Winnie the Pooh that you sometimes get teary-eyed or actually cry? I said, yes. Sunshine says, the emotional release of watching stories play out is the understanding that this is not just a fictional story, but it is about the overall human experience. With closer observance, you will recognize that they depict a vast array of human responses and emotions. They are, in fact, a depiction of how human emotions have a role to play in the general scheme of things. That means that in order to feel as though you have become emboldened through a certain situation, you must understand how the emotions go along with it. In order to embrace your joy more fully, you must also accept the fact that you are sometimes sad. Remember when Eeyore said that he felt positively tickled pink in that low, melancholy voice? He was expressing that idea that although he may have sounded gloomy, he was genuinely happy. The overall sense that everything we experience is intricately tied to our emotions about it. We will always find something regardless of what people say. We can start by acknowledging that when our feelings do exist, and regardless of what people might say, we must contend with them in the way that feels right for us. It is important to note that no one will judge you for the feelings you have. Why, even Eeyore and Piglet were never judged for being gloomy or fearful. They were loved and accepted without condition. That is the same relationship that you have with your guides and angels. Regardless of where you are in the spiritual realm, you are loved and accepted. It is important for you to accept yourself. It is during those moments when you are most vulnerable that you embrace the fate and face that you are loved. Embrace the fact that you are loved just as you are. When you have unhappy moments, we will hold you in love and care. That is why it is so significant for you to be reminded of your emotions and embrace them as significant and important. You are an emotional being, and you will say things again and again that are based entirely on your emotional strains of a specific moment. Because you are currently a bundle of nerves, you may be finding it difficult or challenging to find your spiritual center. Accepting your own emotional strengths and weaknesses will help in the coming days and weeks. Remember, you are in this moment not because Creator thrives on you being sad and discontented, but rather because you chose to be here at this precise moment in time. You alone will decide at each juncture what course you will embark on. The reason for this moment is not to make you sad. It is made to show you that you just how strong you are. This is a moment when you can shine brighter and allow the light to illuminate the world. When you do that, you will not only give yourself the feeling of levity, but you will inspire the people around you to do the same. This is where humanity is at this moment. You are literally choosing between light and darkness. By using Nigel's breathing techniques, Ramon's logical reasoning, and accepting your emotional strengths and weaknesses, you will recognize with complete certainty that it uh, not only does it show that no one has any power over you, but that you are a force of spiritual power yourself. Allow yourself to experience a happy moment or two. Use your talents to find the moments of peace and enjoyment. Allow yourself to smile. Contrary to the events that are unfolding around you, there is no guilt in enjoying a moment, nor should there ever be. The center of all of this is finding time in a busy day to come to that quiet place, sitting in the stillness and just allowing yourself to be in that moment in a good place is a good practice to get into. The point is not for me to tell people what to do or what method is best, but simply to remind people that it can be tapped into. Make certain that whatever you decide to do, that you do so with care and love that your spirit requires, and that you love yourself without condition. This is a suggestion that as you try to face the days and weeks ahead, just remember in the end of these difficult times, you can look back on these moments and say with absolute certainty, I made it through. And if anything, that should be a reason to smile. And I said, thank you so much, Nigel, Ramon, and Sunshine, for helping us through this difficult time. I'm grateful to be a part of this, and I hope that you will find some reassurances in all of this as well. Namaste.
Thank you, Yvette. That was beautiful. You know what really struck me? Metatron had talked about how LoveStream is going to be pulling a lot of threads together. So, listening to your message, there are all these refrains that I'm getting, that you're getting, the same message, just different words, because we need to hear it. Plus, for anybody who gets messages like that and doubts whether it's really from somewhere or from themselves, how can you dispute it? There it is. The truth is showing up in very different messages, but with the same underlying truth.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's
Yes.
a wonderful thing. And the meditation that I wrote, initially thought that there was a meditation that I had done on my channel with Nigel, and it was right after you emailed me about doing this, and I had the meditation the very next day with Nigel, where he gave me that message. And the day after that, I had the meditation with Ramon, who gave me that message, and Sunshine gave me the third message. And it just, everything just came together. It was the synchronicity that you mentioned. It was absolutely phenomenal what happened. And I was just like, I have to use this. And there was so much stuff there. I had to trim it down because there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to use. And then I thought, no, I'm going to take that out. No, I'm take that out. I had 6 pages, and I had 6 pages of typed written material. And then I typed it. I trimmed it down, and then I ended up with 5 pages. So it was, but I had typed in probably close to 7 pages of material, and I had to trim it down because there was so much stuff there that I just thought, oh, well, this doesn't really seem that important, or this seems like repeated stuff. And so I had to do that, and it just came together so well, and I'm so very pleased with how it worked out.
Yeah, I think the people in chat are as well. Phyllis says she's received the same message in different words. Yeah, absolutely, you guys, because it's right now we need to come together in love and trusting that we do have what it takes to get to Earthtopia together. So it's coming together in our numbers, bolstering each other up, whatever we need to do to keep moving forward because we cannot give up. And we really are stronger than the darkness. It's just sometimes we have those little doubts. And here we are, reassuring each other that we've got this. Just keep going. And, I believe that what we're doing is going to mitigate the darkness that's coming in April. It would have been far worse had we not had this gift from Metatron of LOVEStream. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. What I noticed is that I don't want to go into politics, but I did want to mention that the good news that out of Wisconsin yesterday. I just thought that was I was afeared that would not go the way we all hoped it would, but it didn't go that way at all. It went the best possible way, and this is I think this is light energy working. I think that it really inspired people to really make a decision based on what is best for them, for their state, for their people. And I am absolutely thrilled by that. And I just thought, wow, this is light work going on in real time.
Yeah, what's really funny? Nancy Jean, who's going to be on, I think on the 10th, her son, Sean, worked on that campaign. He does that kind of work. And so we spoke late last night, and he's just jubilant because, this was a big win. It was very important, and so much energy and intention went into it. So it's like, yeah, a little angel magic here and there. And truly, we are surrounded by angel magic. And you were talking in your message about, you know, staying in that frame and bringing the fun, bringing the magic. And that's really all we need to do. If you have one of those days where you're feeling drawn down by the darkness, just let a little bit of that angel magic come in. Read your past writings of your meditations. That will lift you up. And I hope, Yvette, that you are planning at some point to publish in a written format what you've got because it's so powerful. And, people can listen to it here and get a lot from it. But sometimes you need to read it to actually be able to soak it all in. So I will be sharing Metatron's messages on Medium, and I'll put the link in the live streams later on when I've got it ready to go. What were you going to say?
It's going to take a little bit of time. I've got 4 books full.
You've got time.
These are full. These are full. Starting with Metatrons, the meditation with Metatrons. This is what I've got right now. And I just started the 5th notebook, and these are full, completely full. 4 of them. And so I called this one Into the Meadow. Into the Meadow, book 4. I mean, this is a lot of, this is going to take a while for me to type in because I do it all handwritten. It's all my chicken scratch here.
Yeah. Would you talk to us a little bit about the spiritual growth you experienced just by going through this exercise? Because I can feel the difference in you from when we first met, but I'm sure there's a lot more that's not evident.
Sure. Yeah, so one of the things that happened to me after I started doing this was I was very stressed out. I remember the day back in November, the 5th of November, I went to a young Democrats meetup, and it was more like going to a funeral. It was very depressing. It was very sad, and everybody was like, just they were like a bunch of Eeyores. And I was walking every day, like from September, the end of September until December. I would walk like 2 kilometers, or about no, about 4 kilometers, about 2 miles a day. I would just walk. And I remember coming home, and I had gotten off the bus like 3 stops before my actual bus stop because I had so much energy in me, and I was so frustrated and angry and just, grr. And I just walked and I walked. And in January, when I decided to start doing the meditations, and I decided to start doing, I did feel a lightness. I felt the sunshine described in the meditation. She said about the lightness, about, realizing that these people have no power over you is like, it's like having an epiphany, because you there's so many people that they see what's going on in the world, and they're like going, oh my God, it's just weighing me down, it's just so awful, it's just terrible and everything. And I just said, I just had like this epiphany where I was going, you know what, he really has no power over me. These people who are doing all these really nasty things have no power over me. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm in Germany. It has to do with the fact that, because I'm very empathetic, and I'm like an empath in some ways, because I, I feel for people in a very deep level. When things are not going well for them, I feel for them, and I have that empathy that just goes absolutely bonkers. And so when I am, in that kind of place, I'm like, um, I feel for people, and I have that sense. And so this has kind of balanced that out, where I'm still empathetic and I still have empathy, but I also do the self-care that I need to do for myself, where I say, okay, I am not going to sit here and allow myself to get into this depression or depressed state of being. I'm going to try and do what I can to preserve myself and my own sanity, if you will, during these times, and during struggles and things. And so sometimes people have to be. When I was going through chemotherapy, the one thing that the oncologist said to me was, "You have to be selfish sometimes." And I was like, that was hard. That was the hardest part of the whole thing, because I didn't want to be selfish. I wanted to be helpful to people where I could. And she said, no, you have to think about your self-preservation. You have to, like the masks in the airplane, where they said, help do your mask first, and then do the mask for other people. Because when you can't help yourself, there's no way in anything that you can help another person. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to help another person unless you help yourself first. And then you can help the others that are around you.
Yeah, so in that way, it's not selfish. People have the wrong idea about what selfish is. Selfish is seen as negative, but taking care of yourself so that you are healthy, strong, balanced, spiritually, mentally, and physically, that actually empowers you to give more to the world. Nothing selfish about that. That's sensible. Yeah. I
Yeah,
wonder.
absolutely.
Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
Oh, I was just saying absolutely. That was it.
I have another synchronicity to share with you. This is just so sweet. I don't know how many people watching are Trekkies. I am a Trekkie. I watched it from the time it began in the 60s. One day, I saw this little meme, and it's about that episode when, this one's from Deep Space Nine. No, Next Generation, because it was Captain Picard. This was Captain Picard at Tanagra. If you know that he went down to this planet to meet this captain from this other race of people. And the captain, in his heart, so desperately wanted to communicate, but they didn't have translators. They couldn't communicate. And so the captain beamed them both to this planet so they could work it out, which is kind of a smart idea, except they didn't know there was this big monster there. So they're desperately trying to communicate. And it turns out their language is based on old mythological stories that then becomes their language. So I'm going to show you the picture, and we'll talk about it. And if you don't understand it, you might go look it up or watch that episode. It is so deep, so beautiful, and so connected to what we're doing, coming together, understanding and love. So let me bring that up. Just a second for me to find it. And I didn't know this, or I would have had it all queued and ready to go. But while you were talking, Yvette, you were talking about Winnie the Pooh. And it's like, oh, I've got that meme right there on my desktop. Okay, here we go. Uh, there it is. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. That's a story from these people, of these two individuals who were at this place called Tanagra. They had a big conflict, and then when they found peace, that was Shaka when the walls fell. I saw that, and it touched me so deeply. I just love that they used Winnie the Pooh to illustrate it. I mean, just how genius, right? So let's see, anybody in the comments?
Brilliant.
Monica knows it. Hypnocity is a star seed and here to help. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and say what you're going to say, Yvette.
That's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I love Next Gen. I am a huge fan of that. I'm also a huge fan of Doctor Who. So I am actually one of the things we're doing this weekend is going to a Doctor Who convention. So I love Doctor Who and I love Star Trek. So very cool.
Who's your favorite doctor?
The Sixth Doctor, Colin Baker, also because he's our friend. I know him. He actually, interesting tidbit about Colin Baker is he spent the night here at this home when he was stranded at the airport 2 years ago.
Wow.
We live uh, about 7 miles, I guess, from the Frankfurt airport. And Colin Baker sends me a message on Twitter. At the time, I was on Twitter, but I'm not anymore. But he sent me a message and he said, I am kind of frantic. I'm stuck at the airport and my flight's been canceled and I am just kind of freaking out. And I said, you can stay here if need be. I just offered. I just said, okay, if you need a place to stay, you can stay, you can come stay here. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yes, I am. I wouldn't offer if I wasn't. And so we drove to the airport. This was like 11 o'clock at night. And we drove to the airport, picked up Colin Baker, and brought him here. And he slept on our sofa.
What an
And
awesome
when
story.
I had cancer, I have a picture of me and Colin when this was right after I finished chemotherapy, and we got to get together with him. And this sits on my desk because it's like one of the biggest, most profound things that happened to me during the time that I was going through chemo was that I had various actors from Doctor Who were really giving me a lot of emotional support during that time. And so this picture sits on my desk. So it's just amazing. I mean, it's just they're totally amazing people.
Thank you for sharing that gorgeous story. Yeah, I know Colin Baker because I wasn't watching Doctor Who when he was the doctor. David Tennant is my favorite, and he's the father-in-law of David Tennant. How cool is that?
Actually not.
No?
Peter Davison is the father-in-law.
Oh, I have it wrong. Okay,
Colin Baker isn't. But their kids are the children of Peter Davison and Colin Baker. They knew each other. Some of them went to school together and stuff.
that is so cool.
But yeah,
Love it. Yeah. So,
I'm a terrible geek. I can't help it. I geek out sometimes.
oh no, me too. You know, we have to have our entertainment, right? Now, at the beginning, Vandana Vindal asked a question about the difference between self love and being selfish. So tell us what we talked about just a little bit ago. Did that answer your question? Because I kind of think the angels just brought that synchronistically in for you. And I'm not doing personal readings today, Vandana, but come on Monday because that's metaphysical chat. And we'll be doing readings then, Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So let us know if that answered your question. All right. Anybody else who has questions about the messages today, about the love stream? Let's keep it all on the positive, uplifting side. And if not, then I've got a special prayer to close it down. And while we're waiting for the questions to come in, I'll tell you the story about the prayer. So while I was channeling the message from Metatron, Robert Schuller kept popping in. Now, he had popped in on me, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And I used to watch him when he had his hour of power on Sundays back in the 80s. And then at some point, I just couldn't take the pompousness anymore, so I stopped watching. But he has this famous invocation, benediction, whatever you want to call it, that he always did. It's quite long and it's quite pompous, but it's beautiful and it's memorable. So I was thinking I'd like to have something like that, but I can't use that. It just doesn't fit. So when I got ready to channel that part of it, Metatron asked Robert Schuller to step up and give us the benediction, the closing prayer. So I will be sharing that with you when we get to the end after we do our Q&A. And this one's not pompous. The interesting thing about Robert Schuller is when I had that conversation with him, I wasn't crazy about talking to the guy because I had those negative feelings, but we worked through that. He was very charming. He owned up to the fact that he let his ego get the best of him, and he was way more humble now that he's on the other side. So he brought that energy to our closing. Just beautiful. So Vandana, you're good. All right, awesome. Kathy, you were heartened to hear the news coming out, the Dems winning and Corey's filibuster. Yeah, really wonderful signs for the first day of April. We're off to a great start. We will definitely.
I'm actually registered in New Jersey, so I was very proud of my senator.
Yeah, he was amazed. Did you read? He stopped eating on Sunday or on Friday, and he stopped drinking on Sunday so he'd be dehydrated and he wouldn't have to use the bathroom. And I'm like, how do you have the stamina?
Mind blown. Wow. Mind blown.
That's dedication. Because think about it. I get not doing the food, but not drinking. How do you have the stamina to get through that many hours? Now, he was drinking water while he was talking, but I just can't imagine. He had to be on pure adrenaline for 25 hours.
I think he was, because I saw an interview where with him. He had actually talked to Rachel Maddow after the filibuster had ended, and he said something about he really that it stuck in his craw who had the longest filibuster. It was Strom Thurmond, I think
Yeah.
it was, but before him. And he said he just did not like it because he was arguing against like segregation and stuff from the 60s. And he said it just stuck in his craw that he just did not like that, that somebody would be filibustering um, to deny someone like Cory Booker the opportunity to serve in the Senate. So he was very, very. I think that really that motivated him. I think to actually win that, to get that, get across the finish line with that. So I was really happy for him. I think that he really. It may not politically, it may not make a big difference, but to the opinions of the people, Cory Booker is like very, very respected now. People really respect him for what he did. And I think that that's going to have a very massive impact on just the way the world is going to go.
Well, people need to know that their representatives are actually standing up and doing something for them. How long have we gone where they're just in deadlock and nothing much gets done? And I'm hopeful. I got the kind of the glimpse that more are going to step forward and do this. Maybe they're not going to do the record 25 hours, but they'll do shorter ones so that we know they are actually doing something, advocating for us, which is a really positive thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great best takeaway from that is that, yeah, to have these people actually listen. And I think that some of these other folks like Schumer and Pelosi and stuff could actually take some lessons from Cory Booker's little book there, because I think that he stepped up to the plate, and he is making a difference. And I think that's very, very powerful. And I think it's very profound what he did. And synchronicity, it's happening now. It could have happened, it could have happened last week or the week before or whatever, but it's happening now at this moment. Amazing.
Yeah, can you feel the power and the energy? I hope that everybody who's here today and who sees this on replay will be able to feel the tsunami level of energy that we are sending out. It's like this big sonic boom across the planet. And we're going to keep doing that. That's why we're doing this for 11 days. And, the numbers are all playing into this because, 2 and 12 and April being 4. And, you can go look up the symbolism of all those angel numbers. And of course, the 11 for the 11 days. And they're all important. They're connected. All of these pieces, the threads, again, everything.
It might also be interesting to ask somebody who studies numerology what their take is on this, because the astrologers, they're out there, they're talking up about everything that's going on. But the numerologers are probably also having a little bit of fun here with all the numbers and the things that are going on with regards to it. I think that they're probably also having a good time with it.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Hypnocity, her mom was born 4/11/23. Yeah, those are some great numbers. Yeah, I don't know what that comes out to for a life path number, but it's probably a good one. They're all good ones, though. They're all custom for us. Funny story about that. When my mom named me, she thought that Deborah with two B's was the common way of spelling it. She didn't realize most people spell it with one B. So it was an accident, except it wasn't an accident because she did that. My number is an 11. See, there are just no accidents.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, my birthday is November 22nd. And when I told somebody at a gathering that my birthday was November 22nd, 1970, they were like, "Oh, wow, two master numbers and one birthday." And I'm like, "Cool." Because I was actually supposed to be born on November 23rd, but I came a little earlier. And then I would have been on Doctor Who Day, so that would have been cool too.
That is so awesome. So, you guys, if you have any questions, pop them in. If not, I'll move on and I'll do the closing prayer and we'll let you all go on about your day until we meet again tomorrow. Debbie said a very loud plane took off when I was talking about the sonic boom of love. Don't you love it? Synchronicities are just popping up everywhere. So keep track of them and share them, because I think that when we talk about them, we recognize them. We are teaching those who are just awakening what to look for, because they don't understand what we're talking about. They haven't been there and had enough of it to get it yet. Oh, Hypnocity was made in Hawaii. It has a Hawaiian name. Cool. You going to say
What was
something?
it that what was it that you said? You said something. Oh, it just slipped my mind again. Okay. There was something that you said about the oh, what was it? Totally forgot now. It'll come back to me probably after the live stream's over.
You can come back and put it in comments.
But no, there was something that that I was going to say about the synchronicity and about the yeah that that it's not an accident, that these things happen for a reason. That, you know, sometimes we think, oh my goodness, that this is happening at this time, at this moment. And why must we go through this? Why must we learn these lessons? And one of the things that I think is really, really important to make note of is one of the things people are saying, oh, well, why should we have to learn this lesson because so many people are not learning it or they haven't learned it? And my guides used this description that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And they said, you know, when you were learning to become a ham radio operator, you had to take a test. And you didn't know all the answers in that test. You just knew like certain answers. There were like just like bits and pieces that you didn't know or that you did know. And so when you were learning for this test, you needed help from other people who knew the answers to these questions. And so you were able to go to those people and get the help you needed to learn the stuff to pass the test. And so, you know, they said a lot of times what happens is you have highly evolved beings that are here on Earth with us, helping us to learn these lessons that we need to learn in order to get through certain situations. And so, what I think is what they were basically saying was that when we are wondering why is it that we have to learn this lesson again and again and again because these other people aren't learning it, we are like the tutors that are teaching those people to embrace the lessons that they need to learn. And by doing so, we're helping them in a way to reach that next level and come to that next step. And I think that that's kind of important, and I think it's something that that I just wanted to make note of because I think that a lot of times people are like going, "Why do we have to learn this? Why do we have to go through this? Why are we going through all this stuff?" And the reason is because we're here to as way showers for these people, the people who don't yet know that that this is that this is what they can do or that this is how they can acknowledge what's going on and stuff. And I think that's a very, very important message. And I think that a lot of times people forget when they're telling people, "Oh, we have this lesson we have to learn, and you just have to accept it and stuff like that." But I think the reason that we are in this place right now where we are is so that we can help other people to find the answers that they are seeking. And like me with the test, I had to pass the test in order to become an operator. And so I wouldn't have been able to do it if somebody wasn't there to help me. And so now I pay it forward and I try to help other people also find that answer.
I think most light workers do that. You learn and then you teach because it's just kind of a natural flow. And there's also an energy, because most of our audience tends to be women who are of a certain age, the crone age, right? We are coming into our power as the crone leaders. And this is our time, baby, to step up and do that. So do it with relish and joy because, we are way more vital and engaged and just such a different place with who we are as people than previous generations. There's something really special about this time that we came to lead this evolution of humanity. It's massive. So, whatever you feel led to contribute, please do that. Don't let anyone put you down or hold you back because you didn't come for that. You came to live full out, not just to exist. And you've got so much to give. Hey, Gigi, welcome. Go ahead, Yvette.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that is a great point too. I just want to say thank you before I forget. I want to say thank you to you for inviting me to come on here and to share my message. I'm very grateful to you for just the inspired messages and the assistance in helping to build something that I think is powerful and great. And the community is just phenomenal. And I'm just very, very grateful to be a part of it. And and I hope that everyone watching is having a blessed day and that you are finding the joy in yourself because it's there. And I am so honored to be a part of this group. And I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for having me here.
Well, I am so delighted that you said yes because I realize it might have been a little bit of a stretch, but that was Metatron's intention. It's like now it's time for the leaders to step forward and build their confidence. So that's all of these things are built into this love stream. It's mind boggling. And he showed me the faces of the people that I should invite. I mean, this is like totally directed and produced, through me, of course, physically, but Metatron dreamed all this up. And as I told you guys in the email, if you're on my list, there's more. And I don't know what it is, but I know it's going to be big. So hang on because we are in for quite a ride. And also, Metatron wanted me to remind everybody that this is all an offshoot from the 21-day meditation challenge that, he gifted us a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And we just keep going, growing, expanding, and bringing in more into the community because, as we've said, we need more light workers to help us get to Earthtopia, to, get the energy level high enough. So I'm going to put the link in chat. If you haven't done the meditation challenge, go check out this page. It's got all the details to tell you what you need to do. And it's a book. It is learning how to channel in a little book. That's what he did, this amazing, marvelous thing. And you see what Yvette is doing. She's not only talking to her guides, she's getting outsiders like Fred Rogers and Einstein and now Gorbachev coming in to have conversations with her because it's all for her edification and expansion. And then we're blessed she shares it with us. So please, I gave you the link to her channel. Check out her channel, support her, and we're just going to keep growing together. So there's the link to get more information about the challenge. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, Ivana. Thank you. Shine brightly, spread love in the darkness. And you guys, Ivana is going to be here tomorrow. She's my special guest tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Your word for 2025 is revelations, Hypnocity. That is awesome. Yeah, a lot of revelations are coming. Gigi, you are so welcome. Richard, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you could make it. Sonia, oh, great you could be here. And Hypnocity, wow, what have you been through? You are a walking miracle, baby. So glad you could be with us to share the love and the inspiration. And there is more. Just know, you guys, it is a deep well that never ends. It's perpetual because Creator is abundant. So there is enough love, healing, energy, whatever you need in that deep well. Just go there. Drink from that well. It will sustain you. So I think I'm going to move into the closing prayer. Before I do that, is there anything else that you wanted to add, Yvette?
Well, Mr. Rogers just came to me and he said, I'm proud of all of you.
Oh, love it. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. That is so beautiful. And you know what's so cool, Yvette? the ease with which that just came through for you. And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I did the conversation with God 20 years ago, and that went about a year and a half or so, and then I started doing it in January this year. So maybe I had a little bit of a little step up on there or something, but I'm just, it took me a while to actually accept the fact that these folks were coming in and talking to me because I was like, am I a channel? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What are people going to think about me? What are they going to say? What are they going to, all the ego stuff going on, and I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'll just say whatever I get, I will say it. And today, when I heard Mikhail Gorbachev talk to me, I was like hearing Russian in my head. I was hearing someone not speaking Russian, but speaking with a Russian accent. And so I knew that it was not my guides because my guides don't sound like that. And I knew who it was. I knew immediately, and I asked him, I said, all right, will you talk to me? And he's like, yeah, duh. Yeah, he will. Yeah. And so that's what came. And I was like going, oh, my giddy aunt. I was so happy. It was just like, wow, because this was somebody I admired as a young person. And now, and I get to talk to him. It's like very cool.
That is so wonderful. And it's just going to keep expanding because more people from the other side who resonate with you will be drawn to share. And I mean, you can't do any better than Fred Rogers to guide you.
Not at all. That's just, well, I wrote letters to him when I was younger. When I was 20 years old, I wrote him a letter and we exchanged letters from 1991 up until his passing, his transition in 2002, I believe it was. And one of the interesting things is on September 11th, 2001, my husband and I had come back from Paris. We had gone to Paris to visit my best friend who was actually stranded in Paris during 9/11. And we had gone to see her, and we were on a train coming back to Germany to in direction of Frankfurt on September 11th. And we got to the Frankfurt train station. We had to get on another train to get back to our town here where we live. And people got on at the air, and we went by the airport, and people got on from the airport, got on the train to go in the direction of Mainz and Wiesbaden, and they were talking about the World Trade Center, and I was like, "What happened? What happened?" And I was asking strangers, I was like, "What happened? What happened?" And nobody was telling me anything. And we got home, and I turned on the TV, and oh my God, I saw this and I was like going, oh my word. My husband at that time went downstairs to get the mail because we had to get our mail. And he comes up and there's a letter from Fred Rogers on 9/11 in the mailbox. And I wrote him back and I told him, your letter arrived on 9/11. And I said, that offered me so much comfort. I said, you cannot even begin to imagine how much comfort that offered me reading this letter on 9/11 and saying, oh my word, that this happened, but that I got this letter on that day. It was pretty astonishing.
Wow. More synchronicities. How beautiful is that? Angel choreography. Because they arranged that. And it is what always boggles my mind is how they get all these things so far in advance, all lined up, that it's like dominoes, and one thing had to happen for the other thing, and yet they do it so perfectly and magically. It's and that's what if you're not understanding what we're talking about, it's when you connect with the angels and you recognize those breadcrumbs and the things that they're doing for you, then you see more of them. And all of a sudden you realize the magnitude of the presence of your angels in your life, how they are with you and how they're advocating for you every second of every day because they don't sleep. And you have that. It's a gift to you from Creator. So if you're not using it, you're cheating yourself. So join us in the 21-day meditation challenge. Now, just one thing I need to tell you about that. We do have a Facebook support group, which I highly recommend you join, because having the support will help you to make progress faster. But Facebook has done some weird stuff lately. So you have to first friend me on my personal profile and then let me know you want to be added to the group so that I can add you, because you can't go there directly anymore. They changed the rules. So just that one little block is in our way, but you can get around that. Thank you for sharing that beautiful story about 9/11, Yvette. So Hypnocity says that she saw her mom holding out her hand helping children cross on 9/11 because she had passed. Oh, wow. That is beautiful. Thank you all for being here, for sharing your love and your wisdom, your support. It means everything. I hope you can come back tomorrow and join us live, but if you can't, that's what the replays are for. We will keep sharing the love, the wisdom, whatever the angels bring, we are going to share it, because we're all one big community, a family of love, and that's what we do here. So welcome. You are so welcome. All right, so I'm going to move into Robert Schuller's closing for you, and then I'll let you all go. So, courtesy of Robert Schuller. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, we thank every soul who stepped forward into spiritual maturity to be a part of transforming your world. We also thank the fifth dimensional participants who came together in support of our cause. Thank you, Creator, for holding this space for us to come together en masse, stepping into our purpose as lightworker warriors at this time of great need. Finally, a special thanks to Archangel Metatron for inspiring, coordinating, and overseeing, as he always does so magnificently. And now, as you prepare to go about your day, pause for just a moment. Close your eyes. Feel your angel team surrounding you as they deliver a vital force energy infusion into your crown chakra, filling you to overflowing. Can you feel it? Now that you're overflowing with vital force energy, maybe feeling a little tipsy from the power and the magnificence of this gift, just flow with it. You'll soon enough adjust to it. Now, visualize yourself standing arm in arm with the millions of lightworker warriors across the planet, all joined together in common purpose of creating a tsunami-level cosmic wave of transformation to flood the planet with peace and love. Your wave touches the hearts of those who have not yet awakened, beckoning and inviting them to join you. And then it boomerangs right back on you in the most magnificent way, because that's how karma works. What you send out, you get back in equal or greater measure. So it is today, and so shall it ever be. Amen. So, my friends, that concludes day 1 of Metatron's live stream. Please come back tomorrow, same time, same channel, for day 2 to discover what gems of love and wisdom Metatron and the team have waiting for you. Thank you, Yvette, for being our special guest and to kick off this world-changing event. To everyone out there, whether you're watching live or on the replay, we are sending love and blessings to you today and every day. Namaste. Thank you. I'll just quickly check the comments. Okay, we're good there. Thank you all for your love, your support. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Yvette. Bye.